Nearly 6 million people in England and Wales could become eligible to be stripped of their British citizenship without warning under new plans proposed by the government. The new rules would apply disproportionately to people from non-white ethnic minorities. We looked at census data to see how many people this bill could apply to, and we found that 2 in every 5 people from an ethnic minority could be eligible to be deprived of their British citizenship, compared to just 1 in 20 people from a white background.
This is something that's really disturbing because we've seen the Home Office say that citizenship is a privilege and not a right, but what they're really saying is that for a lot of white people, citizenship remains a right, but for a lot of black and brown British people, it's something that's becoming more precarious by the day.
People with ethnic minority heritage become effectively sort of second-class citizens.
Anyone with dual citizenship can already have their citizenship revoked if the Home Secretary believes that it is in the public interest to do so. That includes anyone born to Bangladeshi, German, French, Italian parents, even if they've never acquired a second passport. The government can also remove the citizenship of people without dual nationality, so long as they were born outside the UK and their behaviour is considered seriously prejudicial to vital British interests. The proposed Nationality and Borders Bill would extend these powers even further. Clause 9 of the draft bill states that the government doesn't need to notify those deprived of their citizenship if it does not have their contact details or if it is for any other reason not reasonably practicable to do so. It also states that notice should not be given if it is in the public interest not to do so.
It more or less gets rid of any of the checks and balances that we have in this process, which means that you can lose all of your rights as a British citizen based on the Home Secretary, one person, saying that should happen, and you might lose any chance of getting a court or someone else to look at it because it would all happen in secret.
The big question, which isn't really answered by the legislation as it's drafted, is what happens when you do know about it? Will you then be entitled to appeal? How will you be able to appeal? What will the process be?
I approached the Home Office for a response, and they insist that those deprived of citizenship still possess the right to appeal. My analysis of data from the 2011 census found 5.6 million people in England and Wales that are likely to be eligible for deprivation of citizenship, either because they were born abroad and are likely to be eligible for another citizenship, or because they're already dual nationals. That includes an estimated 408,000 people born in the UK. Eligibility often depends not just on where you were born, but on who your parents were. The main estimate assumes that if you were born in, say, India, you probably had at least one parent who was an Indian citizen at the time of your birth. If we loosen that to assume that both parents were citizens of the birth country, that adds another 390,000 people. Between 2006 and 2017, 199 people were stripped of their citizenship, with 104 cases in 2017 alone.
The government has had these powers, it says, for 100 years. It's almost never used them before the last few years. They were very rarely used. European governments more or less, I think, refused to use citizenship stripping powers after they saw the extent to which the Nazis used them. And really, for a long time, they were used in a few cases, for example, with Russian spies who were discovered and had their citizenship stripped. And recently, we have seen a huge uptick from maybe 1 or 2 or 3 people being stripped of citizenship in a year under Theresa May as Home Secretary. Between 2016 to 2017, it went from 14 people being stripped in 2016 to 104 in 2017.
In 2019, former Islamic State supporter Shamima Begum, who was born in London as a British citizen, was stripped of her UK citizenship.
Please find enclosed papers that relate to a decision taken by the Home Secretary to deprive your daughter Shamima Begum of her British citizenship. In light of the circumstances of your daughter, the notice of the Home Secretary's decision has been served on file today, 19th February, and the order removing her citizenship has subsequently been made.
She didn't have a foreign passport, but the government argued that she was technically a Bangladeshi citizen, and therefore the law allowed for her citizenship to be removed.
These decisions are made very carefully, Where citizenship deprivation is being considered due to national security concerns, decisions are based on advice and intelligence from the security services, from counter-terrorism police, and specialist security and legal officials in the Home Office. When people dedicated to keeping our country safe give an informed recommendation, any Home Secretary should listen very carefully.
In February 2021, the Supreme Court ruled in favour of the Home Office's decision to bar Begum from returning to the UK to appeal her loss of citizenship. The single largest group of people eligible for deprivation of citizenship are those born in India. Around 431,000 residents of England and Wales were born in India at a time when the country offered citizenship to anyone born there. A further 204,000 are likely to be eligible if they were born with at least one parent who was an Indian citizen at the time of their birth. Pakistani-born British people are also particularly exposed because the country offers citizenship to anyone born there after 1951. More than 417,000 residents of England and Wales are likely to meet this criterion, with another 65,000 likely to be eligible if they were born to at least one Pakistani parent.
The great philosopher and thinker Hannah Arendt said citizenship is the right to have rights. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948 sets out all the rights to which we are all entitled by virtue of being human. As a matter of practice, you need a nationality in order to get access to these rights.
The Home Office says that deprivation of citizenship is only used as a last resort against those that pose a serious threat to national security, such as foreign fighters returning from Syria. However, human rights organisation Reprieve has warned that the bill could lead to trafficking victims being stripped of support. Reprieve estimates that 63% of British women currently detained in northeastern Syria are victims of trafficking.